name is Nadia Mutana. Thank you so much for taking time to join me here on Loving Mothering. Today I'm so excited to be sharing with you a new guest, my friend Serene Allison. I'm so glad you could be here.
That's great. I'm just so happy to be able to have a chance to sit down. We're being friends, but we hardly ever get to see each other, so this is another opportunity.
Yes, to be one-on-one.
Yes.
Usually we see each other, but
we're running after our children, so that's the problem.
But today we get to sip tea and talk.
Tea. When do we have tea?
Yes.
And a quiet house.
Thank you. Now this is mom's night out, but it's daytime.
Yes, exactly. Oh, I know, it feels very special.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad that this really worked out. Serene, okay, you're a mother, but some of you might know her from Trim Healthy Mama. But beyond that, for me, I know you as a mom. So you want to share audience, those who don't know you, how many children you have? You have grandchildren. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, so I mean, I cheated a little bit. I adopted 5 children. So I have 14 children, 5 are adopted and 9 biological, and we have 10 grandchildren. Oh, wow. And so, and we have a large, beautiful, chaotic family, but it's I wouldn't trade it for the world. But it's not necessarily peaceful, but it's joyful.
Yes. I think sometimes we think peace is quiet.
Yeah.
Because I think the Bible says he's our peace, but heaven is not quiet.
No, and I'm thinking about that. Sometimes people can have total quiet and be ruminating over bitter thoughts. They can just be very alone and introspective, and it can be unhealthy for them. But so that's so true. Peace doesn't necessarily mean quiet. Peace is more of an inside anchor of relaxing in rest, I suppose, internal rest.
Yes. Well, so we've been friends for a while, and I've watched your journey of mothering, and you've watched a bit of me. So really,
I'm always inspired by yours. Yeah.
Well, vice versa. I think we learn from each other back and forth.
I remember coming to you and saying, "Tell me how to get my child to sleep."
Yes, and you did it.
Yes,
and it was like so easy.
Yeah, it was a miracle.
Praise God. Yeah, but what I want to talk about, like we live in the Christian world, we have so many things out there that people believe that is can just tear out. So today I just want to talk to us moms and wives out there. Out of those, thinking Proverbs 31 is something God began to do with me a few years ago, and I know it's a journey you're on now. You are a mom, first of all. We all know that. You're a wife, you're a mother, and that's your heart.
That's my heart, yes.
But in the last few years, you've been on a journey of creating this huge business, Trim Healthy Mama. That is like a huge business. But then, so you get to learn, you're dealing with this corporate world, but yet you're a mom.
Yeah.
But I've watched you, for those, there's nothing's changed.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have the business, but when we get together, when I see you in the same environment I used to see, it's still the same.
Good.
You're still the mom, you're still it's kind of hard to comprehend.
Well, you think you're encouraging me right now. You're encouraging me because that's been my main thing is God. I know that you've called me to be a wife because I'm married, obviously. So this is a calling. It's just it. And then I'm called to be a mother because I have children around me, and so this is my first. This is my heartbeat. This is the foundation of it all, and it cannot be secondary. It has to be primary. This is my focus, and that the business comes second. And I've always been like, Lord, help me to keep that seesaw in the right balance, because I didn't ever want to lose that heartbeat. And so you're encouraging me.
Well, I think you do it so well that I'm just telling you the truth. I mean, it's been a few years, but I honestly, it's not any different. I mean, every now and then you have to fly out and do things, but when you're around, it's still the same.
Good.
And my children actually worry. My kids are like, you wouldn't know she runs such a huge business.
Well, hey, we have a lot of people working for us, so I don't have to do all of that work. We have a lot of hardworking, amazing people.
But it hasn't changed your concept of mom. And that's what I want to talk about. It's such a battle with women. I mean, we have different gifts.
Yeah.
Proverbs 31, God challenged me a few years ago because, sometimes we have this concept of what being a wife and a mother is. But Proverbs 31 kind of blows us out of the box.
Yes.
And
she was very productive, wasn't she?
Most of the churches will throw her out, right?
Yeah.
But this woman's so business oriented.
She is.
I was amazed by how many scriptures in Proverbs 31 refer to business versus the other.
Yeah.
But
it's
yet
incredible.
But yet to put in perspective, you knew she was a woman of the home.
Oh, well, it was like she rises early to take care of, that her household needs were met. It was all very...
How priorities were right.
priorities were right, yes.
But yet she was like this productive woman.
Yes.
So I want to talk today, how do you do that? Talk to us. How do you get so much done and still be influential out there and still build a good business and yet remain a mom?
It's been a journey. It's been a journey because I have... you're a business minded woman by nature. It's a gifting to you. It wasn't my gifting. I had no aspiration for business or anything. I loved to sing and do creative things outside, like just as it overflowed into my home and outside of my home, but I didn't have any business aspirations. So I think that's when God just decided, hey, we'll just take this one and see what we can do with it. Because at first I was almost resentful at it and thinking, I just want to be mum. I got to the point where I'd even throw pillows against the wall. I'm so frustrated. I just want to stay home and focus on my children and focus that they're getting, that the meal is prepared at night and that they're homeschooled properly, and that I can have time to sit down and read to my toddlers, and everybody's tucked into bed by mummy. And this was my heart. So at first it was like a shock. And it was almost like, no,
because it happened so quickly.
Yes, and it was like, no, this cannot be you, God. This cannot be you. And until I realized we didn't pay for, like, up until now, very, very little. Maybe up until a year ago, there wasn't even a penny put in advertising or anything. So it was when I had to start to realize this was a God thing. It was a God door that opened, and I had to honor that. And if God opened this, then He knew that I could do both. And He doesn't give me something that I can't handle. And so it's been walking that tightrope to make sure that yes, the foundation of family is the heartbeat and it's my focus, but I can still do this. So what I've kind of tried to do is not necessarily give more like equal time. I don't believe that would be right, but not even to carve out a few hours for the business. It's more like whatever I catch for the business. I take care of my family first, and whatever out. Of course, there's been meetings I have to go to and things I have to do, but just on the day to day, if I get that hour where I'm going to sit down and do things for the business, I just pray, Lord, make this productive. Turn this hour that I have here and make it like it was 7. Because you know that I've got this family to take care of, and this is my heart. But you've given me this. So because you gave it to me, you can do this. You can make this hour like 7. So especially when we were doing writing of the books and everything, which just took a lot of time because...
Which I'm probably going to link your books down in the description below if you want to get copies of that. I highly recommend them.
But we worked with publishers, and of course they have deadlines and things like that. And so it would frustrate me thinking, I really need to spend 7 hours a day on this. And I'd feel guilty sometimes because my sister, who's my business partner, her children are older, and so it was easier for her to put in the time that she needed to put in. And I'd feel guilty. I'd think, I'm not carrying my weight, I'm not doing that. Until I realized, no, God, you can take this little, it's like the woman's might, you can take my might and make it. You can enlarge it.
The loaves and fish.
Oh, the loaves and fish, And so that's really what I do. It's not like I carve out special extra time. It's like the time that the snatches of time that you've given me to do this, you're going to multiply it in productivity. So,
but that's amazing, right? Because really, it is God who redeems time. I remember one day with Him is like 1,000 years.
Yes, He does.
So it's so good to be able to pray over that and see God bless it. But what I've noticed also, it's not just that. Okay, now there's my family and there is business. And I'm struggling to get the time. You still are on the same pace. When I see you still, I gotta go. You still are taking time to chat. You still you're still enjoying the process through it. You had time to.
Okay,
I'm sure there are days. Okay, I have deadlines. lines to go to.
But it's a journey, and I love that you see that in me, that I am still enjoying it, and that's encouraging, because that's the journey that I'm on. Because I think there has been times when I've got into the rat race. Oh, I've got to do this and I've got to do that, and hey, you do another chapter of this book, and I'm going to check your grammar when I get home, and can you help change the baby's diaper, and I'm off and I've got to do blah 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 blah. And it would get when I was kind of like just getting a little bit, well, not even a little bit, maybe a lot bit anxious. And I had to I felt like the Lord say to me, what if all of this rat race is the catapult to your peace, to more peace than you had before? Because when life is just all perfect and you have your time to dilly-dally about this, maybe you don't have to exercise peace. But what if this is your catapult to true peace, because you have to exercise, because you have to find it amidst the chaos. Till as you're driving and your babies are screaming in the back and you're about to trying to clear your head because you're about to go to a business meeting, you're trying to get your head in gear. What if finding God in that and finding peace in that, you'll become more of a peaceful person, because you're having to exercise it, you're having to work it, you're having to grow it. And I started to realize that peace is a big country. It's a big country. I used to think peace was just this little place that I could go to, but I'm realizing no, peace can be found amidst the chaos. Peace can be found at business meetings with my babies, like under my nursing tent and everything. That's the other thing that I felt like God saying. This was kind of our what do you call it when something is a fleece? When we'd work with people, it'd be a fleece if they were the right ones for us to connect with business, if they could handle me bringing my babies. So I always bring my nursing baby with me.
Everywhere. You fly to every meeting.
Yes. Sometimes, I had a child.
And your babies are not, I sit down and stay quiet.
No, they're not. And sometimes, I've had a baby, the one before this, they had special needs with eating, and I had to nurse with certain tubes, and of course I was covered with a nursing tent, but I'd have
more work to it.
Yeah, there's more work to it. It was cumbersome. I had to bring in big diaper bags and everything, and if people could handle that, and if people could handle my 2-year-old maybe, sitting in a chair and colouring in at the side, I just thought, well, then it would just show that was the right connection, because
this is who you are.
This is who I am, and I feel like if women didn't have to separate, it's like the church and state. If we didn't have to separate business and motherhood, then it could work a lot smoother. Like my mom.
Because it's you, right? Like,
yes.
You are still the same person.
Yes.
That you, the mother, is no different from you, the businesswoman.
That's right. And my mother was a great example to that, because she has had a ministry to encourage motherhood.
And your mother is, like I had her in the previous video, Nancy Campbell of Above Rubies.
Yes. So, her whole life, her whole anthem, her whole mission she feels from the Lord is to encourage mothers to just feel so fulfilled in the home, and to just realize the high calling of motherhood. But she's such a woman of inspiration and drive. She's got drive. I don't know where it comes from. And
I was like, she was telling me she's gonna be 80 years next year.
And she's still.
And my children were like, really? Even me, I'm like, you mean 25? Because I have strength.
Yes. But she never sat on her gifting. So she knew that she had a gifting of writing, and that God gave her this mission. And from the time I was born, she has been, what she calls the editress of Above Rubies. And she's run this ministry since I was a baby, but I never felt like my mum was a working mother. I just always thought that I was doted on, that she was always there, but she brought me everywhere. The little sheepskin, she'd go and speak at these meetings, she'd have a little somebody to help, and I'd be laid down on my little lammy, and mum would be up there speaking to all these people, and I just remember just down on the floor with toys and looking at my mum, and typing away. She was always productive, always busy, and she wasn't the mother that had time to paint her nails or lay in a bubble bath, and but she was totally heartbeat to her family. But that doesn't mean that you can't use your gifts, because God gave her gifts
to change the world.
And she's always encouraged us, you are first a mom, Serene, but she's always encouraged us to use our giftings. And so I feel like when mothers can combine motherhood with their giftings and with business opportunities, bring their babies along, and we've tried to do that with our business too. If we have had to hire single moms or mothers who need extra income, that we've always said, hey, you can bring your baby to the office, put a little playpen in the corner, you know. So
Nice.
some of our mothers even have their little 7-year-olds homeschooling in the corner, and we just, it's always like, you can bring your children because
this is what this business was
yes.
birthed out of.
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
And sometimes I've got these great pictures of my 2-year-old sitting at the end of a big conference table, and some businessman in ties handing him a business card. It was like a joke.
That's nice.
But I have a little picture of that. Like,
Well, they really want to be friends with him so they can get a deal.
but it was just
Oh
sweet.
wow! Well, praise God. And this has been like my journey. Even opening this channel or other business event, it's been really like I've had a hat for business since I was like little. Like other girls dream of other things. I dream business.
Yes.
I used to help my dad run his business from 8 years
Wow.
old. Like
Yes.
count money at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That would come in like tons of money.
Yes.
And now
Yeah.
keep records. So that was just
Yes.
But when I got married and I just thought like that was not of God.
Yeah.
Like you're meant to feel, put that aside.
Yeah.
And so it's been a journey, the Lord just working with Nadia. No, just because you're a wife and a mother, doesn't mean you put it aside, bring it along. And
Yes.
it's just an interesting journey because I'm bringing my children along.
Right.
Like my son is going to do all the editing, so he gets to do the stuff with me.
Yes.
So,
Yes, I feel like
it creates opportunities for them.
Exactly.
Which has happened with you.
Yes.
So your children are working in there,
Yeah.
right? They're married ones.
Well,
It's blessing the whole family.
Exactly. Like my eldest son, Arden, he's our videographer for our business, and he has bloomed. He didn't even think of videography till that we needed somebody, and then but it's a natural gifting of his, and it's great though because now I have to go and do a video. It's not like, oh, I have to go completely away from my family. I'm spending quality time with my son. He's working, I'm working, and then
you get to see him. Whereas if you worked somewhere else,
exactly,
you wouldn't see him as much.
yeah, and it's just been a wonderful journey, and I feel like it's important for children to see their mums. I think it's mostly important for them to see their mothers putting family first. And that's always the bedrock, but I think it's important for them to see that their mothers aren't sitting on their giftings and just hiding away where they're not being able to be used and shining.
Or they're not using having those children as an excuse for not fulfilling the call of God upon. Because you know what a burden puts on a child?
Yeah.
But then we want them, you can do all things, come on, go after your dreams, and they look at you like, and you?
Yeah, exactly. Right? And I also think that as much as I'm totally in agreement with what you say, and I totally believe that you are going to be like, I'm right on with what you're saying here. It's been a pitfall for women to feel like that they have to, like you said, shove business aside, shove creativity aside, shove your own talents aside because I've got to be a mom. That's the pitfall. But on the other side, there's the pitfall. So once you start going, and I'm happy to keep reminding myself that too. Once you start going in this direction, you have to remember your roots, remember your priorities, and make that constant little checklist of yourself. Okay, am I putting my family first? Because it's so easy to walk down that road and keep walking, and
before you know it, even for men, it happens. Like
exactly,
both ways. And so that's what I wanted to talk. Okay, so what are the practical things that you would say that have helped to do that? Or what would you say to that mom? Or, whether it's practical wisdom, like what do you feel like, suppose you were sitting with your daughter and she's like embarking on this, and she's married and say, okay, what do I need to do to keep away from that?
Okay, I think what I saw...
I don't want to sit on my gifting, I don't want to forsake my family either.
Yeah, I think what I saw it with my mum, and then I started actually falling into the pitfall, and I remembered my mum, and then I started strengthening it back to where I feel like is a very balanced place. But okay, so with my mum, like I said, she was very, very all about using her giftings for the Lord, but very all about her family. But she was always there for me. She'd make me little cut apples every night, put me to bed, and she'd give me little cut apples. Like she'd peel them, and then sometimes she'd make a smiley face with raisins on the side, and it was just a special thing. And she always was very personable as the mum. She always made the dinners. She always. So what I'm trying to say is, when I first got busy, I started, and I think people can do this even if they're just in the home. As their children grow up, it's very important to train your children in cooking and cleaning, and I don't think a mom should run themselves ragged by doing everything. But I think it's so easy to train yourself out of a job, to train the children so well that you train yourself out of being a mum. And so, especially when you get into business, I'd be like, you know, writing on the book, and I'd be in the home, and I'd giving a little toddler a hug here and there, but it'd be like, would you please put on the rice, and you do the dinner, and blah 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 blah, and would you bathe the toddler, and okay, so and so needs a diaper change, and you know, everyone needs to have chores around the house because they're getting the blessing of the roof over their head and learning to serve, and it's so good for them. I understand that, but I think it's so easy to get imbalanced and to the point where my toddler needs to have the memories of mummy bathing them and mummy reading the story and a home cooked meal from mum. And when I got down that road and I felt like I was getting to the imbalance side where I was just out
things were still running, but you weren't.
I was outsourcing, and I was there, but I wasn't hands-on. It's almost like I was the lady in charge. But it's like, you know how the rich people would have a nanny, but the little children.
That's how I grew up.
The little children would call the nanny mum. And it wasn't getting to that place at all. But I got scared, thinking my toddlers, they might think that their big sisters did the mothering, and I don't want that. I want my children to think mummy was there to tuck me in. Mummy made. It doesn't mean I have to make every nighttime meal, but mummy made yummy home cooked meals. So of course I've trained my children how to cook, and they can do it too. And if I'm busy, or if I have to fly out of town, or if I'm at a meeting and I get home late, sure, they'll take care of it. But
you made it back to your priority,
right? So, but when I am home and I can make that meal, I make sure I keep the balance of, okay, even though I could easily say, because Chalice is great or Cherish is great, those are my older daughters. Okay, you do it. I say no. I'm home, I can do it because I'm mum. I'm mum. I can bath the toddler tonight because I'm here and I'm mum.
I feel like that's where I've just been in the last couple months for me. I had to delegate a lot because of my last baby and health issues, and so I had to kind of train myself out of to tend for a health need. And now we're at a place where, okay, that is easier. So I've been like, okay, let's get back, because I had a season where meals had to be made by somebody, everything, you know. Now getting, which is great training, that it's awesome when you can train your chickens. They gotta do it outside, but the Lord had to talk, okay, now, let's get back into it, because let's be the mom now. You know, it's like grace is lifted for that season. Now regaining that, I'm gonna do it, you know. I'll do it, I'm right here. And to the point you have to retrain the children. No, I got it this time.
And retrain yourself, because sometimes I'm like, oh, okay, what do I do here? You know, Chalice, what is that bread recipe? I mean, I taught her. I did that. Now she has to teach me. I forget.
Wow, praise God. Well, thank you for sharing those truths. And I really, you know, honestly, I've watched, I think you're doing well. And of course, every mom has their own style. I know yesterday when I talked to you and I said, hey, I want to know about you, you're like, you are such a, you don't just mother, like, okay, you're such a, what did I call it? You're such a hands-on mom. Like, I could still travel with my baby.
Maybe to my detriment.
I'm sure there's always things to, like, you know, like when you had to come and say, okay, my baby needs to sleep. Okay, they do need to sleep. But like, you don't just, I travel with all my babies. You know that. But you don't just like your babies are all the time. You know, that they're all over, which is, you know, and you have the grace for it. So you just be you. And it's so great that you can be a mom and you can walk in. We don't have to sacrifice who I am to accomplish my outside gift. You know, to impact the world.
Yes, exactly.
There's no need for compromise.
No, exactly. I feel like God has, God can give you the grace to do both. But I don't think that it's something that we need to be like, if God has certain giftings that are naturally just all flowing into your home, and then from there they're just flowing through your children out to the streets. That's I don't think every woman necessarily is like, oh, I'm nobody because I don't have a big business, or I don't feel like we have to do both. Like I said, I was kind of really enjoying singing and writing songs, and, you know, writing my own stories for my children, and just kind of pouring my gifts into my home. I really was enjoying that. But, you know, so I don't feel like people have to have like this big power outside ministry, but I feel like if God calls them to that, they don't, like you said, they don't have to slash motherhood on the head.
So this is like, we give you permission. Like, you know, there's some women feel like, is this sinful?
No.
But if you search the scriptures, it's been interesting. Because honestly, like God began to work with me. I had to search scriptures the last couple of years.
Yes.
I'm like, God, and I'm looking at Deborah, and I'm looking at all this. I'm like, oh, because different churches teach differently.
Yes.
But I think if we keep, you see the blessings of God if you keep your priorities right.
Yeah. And I do want to say,
And it will work for men too.
Yeah.
Men are supposed to, but when they get their priorities wrong and they're never, they're never there, they're constantly on business trips, never involved in raising their, you also see the same issue.
And my husband has kind of had to learn the same thing as I have, and take the babies, take the children. Like, so he'll take certain boys, the 13-year-old, the 15-year-old, and he'll take them on business trips. If he has to fly out of town to New York or whatever, he'll take them. If he has to go and pick up some big tractor on the back of something, he'll take them. And so, he takes them.
But what great opportunities and training, though, it creates.
Exactly.
I think there's so much fear, but I guess maybe we just want to say, if that's what God's leading you, don't fear. Trust the same God who's led you. That it's possible.
Yes.
It might not be sin out there, but it is really possible because I've seen you do it and you keep working on it. And don't be afraid. Because like that talent, a person hid it because they were afraid. Just because there's a possibility of falling off the cliff doesn't mean we don't climb a hill. So anyways, but we just want to pray. And if you're content at home, stay at home. But today we just want to address those who feel like, is this wrong?
Yeah. I know. So I did want to say too, babies are very adaptable and children are very adaptable, and that's what I want to encourage people to. I mean, I had a 2.5 month in a helicopter flying in these Guatemalan mountains. We were sourcing coffee for our business, and my baby was along up in this crazy situation where eagles probably fear. The helicopter pilot was like, I've never landed a helicopter this high up in the mountains. My baby was there with me. Yeah. And we've taken my baby to all different countries, and been pregnant and very up until like maybe the 7th month and traveling internationally. And so I feel like there can be a fear like, well, it's probably not, babies won't be happy in that situation, or it's not safe in that situation. But I feel like babies can go where you go. Yeah. And if it's
what grounds them is you.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I mean, I travel 9 months out of the year with my babies. Different sleeping arrangements, different countries, different cities. Whether I'm pregnant or not, I think what they just want is you. And even if they're in the same home, same bed, and you're absent.
Yes. Exactly.
It will work.
Yeah. Exactly. And a lot of people are scheduled mums, and that's great if they can have the opportunity to be that. More power to them. But sometimes if your giftings or your business requires you to go, and your baby needs to go, or your toddlers need to go, I feel like the structure can kind of be a little bit mimicked out of when you have a little lammy or something that's, they know that means sleep when they're on it. It doesn't have to be all these cumbersome big equipments. It can be done in a way where
I think you figure out what works for you. That's actually the other thing I wanted to do. I think I wanted to do a talk with you about what is your must-have baby equipment. We should do that later. But yeah, I think you figure out what works at you, and it can be done. Because I grew up in Africa. You see I don't know, as you travel, you probably see different cultures now. But the moms will come, get their garden stuff and go sell it with the baby in the back. Let the baby right there, sell, hide their money, exchange there. The baby, you just get used to it.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, they get used to running from daycare to all the other stuff. What do we think? Yeah.